Today is all about being road trip ready. A lot of my folks are starting to travel again. They're going to see friends and loved ones, and that's awesome. But you're going to be sitting in a car or stuck on an airplane. Your hip flexors are going to get tight. Your back's going to start hurting. Your shoulders are all tight. Your chest is all collapsed. So I'm going to give you some stretches to help you feel better once you land, park the car, get to your next rest stop. I'll show you chair versions as well as things on the floor that you can do if you're interested in getting down there. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to my page, comment, and like. Let's get started. So you've been stuck in a car for a while or in an airplane seat. These hip flexor muscles have gotten shortened. Okay, they need to be stretched out. That's why getting out of the chair is so much effort sometimes. It takes you a few steps to get going. So this first one, I know you've been in a chair, so you don't want to be in a chair, but this is our hip opener stretch. I'm going to show you the chair version, but later I'll show you on the floor. All right, first one. My left knee is straight up and down. I'm going to kick my right knee out. Come up to the edge of a chair and so that you can feel that hip open. So if it's modified, you're uncrossed and you sit nice and tall and you lead with your chin and you just feel that stretch. Okay, you're gonna feel it back in here. Now, to go a little deeper, flex the foot but cross at the ankle. Now that hip opens a little bit more, chest is upright and you hinge. You gotta hang out here for a while, take some deep breaths. You want more sensation? Pick up this bottom foot, flex. Sit nice and tall. I'm already feeling it right here, deep in my glute. Now, we don't want to push on a knee, but you can give it a little gentle pressure and then possibly hinge forwards. Just keep your back flat. This bottom leg is here to stabilize you. And if you keep this foot flexed, it's going to protect your knee joint. So just take some deep breaths here. And this is not a one and done stretch, okay? This has to be done multiple times throughout the day, especially if you've been stuck in a sitting position a long time. This is gonna help you with sciatica. I have a lot of folks that get sciatica. All right, so you'll take deep breath. One side will be tighter than the other, that's normal. Modified, flex the foot, a little bit tougher. Want more sensation? Flex the foot, set it on top. Now, if you are pretty flexible, you might be like, I'm still not feeling it much. If you hinge and you still want more, pick up your bottom heel. Remember, don't rush through this stretch and don't hold your breath. Ooh, these hip openers, they are so needed. All right, so this is a seated version. I want you to stay here longer than what I'm doing. I'm trying to keep your video short, but let's chair squat out of this chair. Squeeze your glutes, press out of the heels, press out. Now, I'm gonna either use a chair if you have a wall, like if you're at a rest area, you don't have a chair, but you certainly have a sturdy wall you can press against. We're gonna stretch out the calves first. So you can flow it for a little bit, pressing. And I'll use my chair so I can get a little closer to you. And I will flow this. Now, once these calves get a little bit warmer, I need to stretch them out a little bit more, so I'm going to press down that heel. Good, and I'm just feeling a gentle stretch down the back of my calf. If I want a deeper stretch, I bend more into this front leg. It's okay if the heel won't touch the ground, but I'm trying to draw it towards the ground. And make sure your foot's not turned out, then I don't feel a thing. But if it's straight back. So I lead into my next favorite stretch. So if that's for calves, I want to get this hip flexor some more. Okay, the last one was more of a hip opener. This stretches out the hip flexor. So I want to grab the chair or a wall, works the same on the wall, bend into your front leg, gently pivot your hips forwards, and we're trying to keep the back leg straight. So a lot of my folks are here, that's fine. Over time, that can straighten out more. But as you drive those hips forwards, ooh, I'm feeling it right here. And if I'm really tight, flow it for a little bit. But then as it gets warmer, I want to hold it. And I want to take some deep breaths here. Very good. You can hang out here all day. All right, so from here, I'm going to go to down dog. Oh, I love down dog. It stretches out everything. So, again, make sure you've got a sturdy chair. You can even do it against the wall, but I find that it feels better if you can put your hands on something sturdy like the top of a wall. Countertops work awesome. Grab whatever you've got that's sturdy. Open up the feet, about hips width apart. Soften the knees. You don't want them locked out. But then you pull your tailbone to the sky, and right away I feel a stretch shooting down my legs. And then if I cover up my ears with my arms and try to extend through my shoulders, I get shoulders as well. Now, if I tend to get dizzy, I'm going to keep looking up. Then I just hang out right here. All right, soften the knees. So again, hold it a lot longer than what I did. I'm just showing you logistics. All right, let's turn around. Let's do the other side. Other foot's in front. We press down the back heel for that calf stretch, and then we point. We're gonna flex and point. Good, so the reason that we flow, remember, is because we're cold. Our body's not warmed up yet, so I'm getting it warmer. But then once I'm warm, I'm gonna hold. Trying to take my heels straight back. If I want a deeper stretch, bend into your front leg. Chest upright. Got my chair to hold on to or a wall. And then I'm going to turn it into my hip flexor. I pick up that heel, releasing the calf, but what I want to do is try to take it back a little further. Now I see this a lot in class. See how far back I am? I want to get right up on so I can stand up tall. And then I'm going to bend into the front leg, pivot the hips forwards, and then ease out. And I'm just flowing this back and forth. And again, once I'm warm enough, then I hold. And I'm feeling it right here. And if you continue to do stretches like this, getting out of the chair is not going to be as painful, because you will be warmed up. Your body is more flexible. And then we'll go back to that down dog when you're ready. Holding on to that sturdy chair, countertop, whatever you've got. Knees soft, pull that tailbone high. Okay, so I've stretched out now my hip flexors, my calves, and these hip openers. Now I want to stretch out the upper half of the body, because when you've been in a car or an airplane, you don't realize, but you are hunched over, okay? Naturally, our body wants to go there. We've got to fight that. So what happens is the back muscles get weak, the chest muscles get tight, and then it just becomes this gradual, right? So we got to first chest opener, palms facing, shoulders back and down. If you'd rather do it seated, it works the same seated as long as you're at the edge of your chair. And then I've got it here. Another version I like to show is if you have a strap, a hand towel, something that's long and does not stretch, then you grab onto that, put it behind your back. I'll show you from the side. You've got to roll your shoulders back and down, and then just lift. And the closer you bring your hands towards one another, wiggling them closer, harder it is to lift. So find one of three of those. There's not one that's better than the other. If you're traveling, you're not going to have a strap. You just hang out right here. Now another one I love to do, do each and every class, stretches out the back, the chest, the shoulders. So you're at your chair, and this can be done three ways, so I'll show you. Shoulders back and down, hands right above the knees. Tuck your chin into the chest, bubble your back, and gently pull back, separating those shoulder blades. Upper back is stretching. And then as you take your next inhale, look out in front of you, not the ceiling. Roll your shoulders back and down. We pull out the tailbone, draw the chest open. So we exhale as we go back. We inhale as we go forwards. And you just flow this a few times. I call this WD-40 for your spine. It's much needed. So, seated, great. What if I'm somewhere and I don't have a chair? Hands right above the knees, tuck your chin into your chest. I'll show you from the side. Still bubble the back. Then open up the chest, pull out the tailbone. Round it. Yes, you may have some funny looks if you're at the rest area and you're doing this, but who cares? You'll never see them again. And you're going to feel better than them, so nah. I want to hit a couple more lower body stretches. We're going to do the hamstring first. Hamstring, I always extend out the leg, keep the other leg bent, and that's where my hands rest. Sit nice and tall. I've dug in my heel. My chest is upright, and without rounding your back, just hinge forwards. And again, if you're really cold, if your body's tight, flow it at first. But then once it gets warmer, you're gonna hang out and breathe. And over time, your chest will start to collapse. Okay, I want you to check in occasionally and breathe. All right, so that's the back side of the leg. Let's hit the top, the quad. Back upright, slide the leg in. We've got to hold on with our left hand as we scooch off to the right. And we slide that leg back. Now, it's not super far back. It's just a little bit. And where you sit on the chair is going to matter. So I want you to pivot your hips forwards and try to lean back into your chair. If it's too far to get back there, you scoot back in your chair. Okay? If it's too easy, scoot forwards. But as you pivot the hips forwards and gently lean back, I want you to feel it in your thigh, right here. That's your quad. I don't want pain in the knee, so if it hurts the knee, bring the foot in a little bit. We just hang out right here, and I love doing it in the chair because you can kind of lean into it and relax. And then you can focus on your breathing. But that hits the quad. So if you're in the chair and it's not working for you, modification standing. My leg is back there, not too far back. Bend that back knee, pivot the hips forwards, and just kind of lean back a little bit. See if you feel that stretch. So either a standing or a seated would work. All right, let's hit the other side. We're going to start our standing hamstring or seated hamstring first. Extend the left leg, chest up and hinge. And again, I'm doing this very briefly. I want you to hold it longer, so hit pause. I would say about 7 to 10 deep breaths per stretch. But if you're really tight, remember you do the flowing first, then you hold. All right, let's hit the quad. Grab on with your right hand. Only if your chair's sturdy do I want you to do this one, because I don't want you to fall out of the chair. All right, pivot your hips forwards, gently lean back. Get a nice quad stretch here. All right, so these are wonderful stretches you can do seated or standing. Okay, I'm going to show a couple floor versions, so if you want to stick around with me, you're comfortable getting down on the floor, then stay tuned. So if you're traveling, you're not going to be able to get down on the floor. But if you have been traveling and you get to your destination and you'd like some floor stretches, I'm just going to show you a couple today. All right, so one thing that you would not need, but it would be nice to have is something that does not stretch, okay? It could be a hand towel even, but rubber bands don't really work well. All right, so we're going to start sitting down. And we're going to do that hip opener stretch that we did in the chair. So I love the hip opener stretch lying down as well. I'm going to flex my foot and cross it over the top. And as I pull my knee straight forwards, I feel a nice stretch here. And I can stay right here. I don't have to go any further. Now, if I do want a little bit more sensation, I'm going to pick up my bottom foot. I'm going to take my hand and go through the legs and then grab around. Now, if that does not work for you, the strap sure is helpful. Gives us these longer arms. Okay, and I can hang out right here. I'm trying to pull my back flat into the floor, not do like one of these. All right, for my flexible folks, you could even bring your hand in front of your shin as long as you don't round up. You're trying to pull the shoulder blades back and down. Just remember to always flex this foot. That's what protects your knee joint. All right, let's untangle. Let's try the other side. I'm gonna cross the other foot over. Make sure it's flexed. Gently pull the knee forwards till you feel that hip opener. And I can breathe right here. I could pick it up for a deeper stretch, reaching around the thigh, or even in front of the shin. So I've got lots of options here. Just breathe through them. All right, release. Now we'll use this strap to work hamstrings. I love working hamstrings on the floor because it's way more comfortable. All right, straighten out your bottom leg. Grab on somewhere. And now notice my back wants to round up. I want you to pull your shoulder blades back and down. Your arms stay soft, never lock out your joints. And then I just get a nice stretch as I'm trying to bring that foot just a little closer towards my face. And then we can untangle. So again, stay here longer. 7 to 10 breaths per side. Flex the foot, shoulders draw back towards the mat, elbows soft. Yeah, these stretches are so important to do. It makes your body feel better. They often get forgotten because when people are done working out, they just want to be done. But if you keep your body flexible, it will feel better and you can enjoy the rest of your day. So safe travels. I hope these stretches have helped you. Leave me some comments.